This is the NZXT HUE 2. It's an ambient RGB lighting kit for your PC. So basically, you put this RGB lighting to complement whatever RGB lighting system or ecosystem that you currently already have. So the one that we have here is from NZXT. Their lighting system is controlled by their CAM software, and this one is a full kit that comes already with a controller and multiple RGB LED strips. So let's go ahead and unbox this and let's see what's inside, and then later on let's set it up. Okay, so we're unboxing this thing for the first time. It's perfectly sealed, and it's perfect for monitors that are 27 inches up to 32 inches above. So that can. So let's take a good look at the box before we open up. So this is the HUE 2, as mentioned. So there was a previous version, but not as much controlled as this current one. Okay, so at the back, you can see that it shows multiple different lights because you can control it in 4 different zones or 4 different RGB strips from all 4 corners of your monitor. So it uses the wall technically to illuminate or reflect back the light, giving that ambient feeling. So you can control it via their CAM software. So the box itself, or the controller itself, is about 100 millimeters or 10 cm tall, and this is how it's going to look like eventually when you put it up. So there's going to be about 4 LED strips inside, I think. Okay, and we'll need a USB 2.0 header to power it up. But for the purposes of this, we're not sure if you can use it without a PC, but let's see what's inside and then talk about it further. Okay, so there's the first seal, and I don't think there's much. Okay, so as usual, we're greeted by some documentation. So this one is the manuals and what's inside. So you have your ambient lighting controller, you have a 300 mm LED strip, you have a 250 mm, a 200 mm, a 2.5 M micro USB connection, and 2 times 150 mm connection cable. You do have some extension cables also, so that if the connections are quite a bit far from where you want to display your monitor, you can do extend it, and so it doesn't show, so you can do some proper cable management. Okay, there's also an adapter, a US plug, because you'll need to power the CAM software separately, and then it also provides an EU plug type, a UK plug type, an Australian plug type, and a Velcro for everything else. And then there's the cable holder. Okay, so suggested configurations. Okay, so this one's going to be quite useful. So for monitors that are 21 to 26 inches, it recommends here that you use the 250 mm, 200 mm on top and the 250 mm on the side. But we will be using it for a 32 inch, so the configuration that we'll be using is this one. So we'll use 2 250 mm at the top and 1 300 mm at the side. So I'm also guessing we will use 250 mm at the side here, or maybe one more 300 mm. But since we only have one 300 mm, perhaps what we will do is 250, 250, 300, 150, and 150, so that we can illuminate the entire area. So the bottom part may not be as important anymore. Okay, so after that, we're greeted directly by the controller. So here it is, perfectly sealed. Okay, so this is the ambient lighting controller. This is where we will be connecting all of the RGB lights. Okay, so there's the USB, there's the power adapter, and then there's the 2 controllers. And then when you open this up, you have your multiple connectors. So the one we'll be using will most probably be the US one. Okay, so this one fits into most Philippine socket types. Or yeah, so I guess we'll stick with this one. So we'll just return everything else first before we proceed with the others. So let's put that aside. Let's see what's here. So this should be the cables. Okay, no, this is the power. Okay, so this is your USB to micro USB, and these are your power headers or your cables, so that you can connect it to your monitor, to your PC, and then directly control it via software. Okay, and then your RGB LED strips should be this one, I believe. Okay, so not yet. Okay, so this one is your power adapter or your power plug. Okay, so this is where you will need to plug in this one. Okay, so it's quite user friendly. Okay, so that's it. So we'll go back to that in a bit. So now we have the cable. Alright, so we got the seal removed, and so now we have access to the cable. These are two 250mm. These are four 250mm and four 200mm. So we'll probably put two of these on top and the bottom, and then this one on the side. Okay, there's nothing else inside, so I guess that's going to be our configuration. Alright, so we're gonna put this now on this 32-inch BenQ monitor. So we have two 250mm connected to each other, but since we only have one NZXT controller and it only supports two headers, we're going to be attaching even the ones on the side on the same one. So you'd have to take that into account if you only have one controller. So if you want the sides or two and two connected separately, you're gonna have to buy a separate controller kit. So for the purposes of this video, we're gonna connect two 250s on top and one at the bottom, and then the rest also attached to this. So there's a 3M sticker at the back, so we're just gonna have to peel that all the way. Okay, so remember that once you put this in, there's actually no going back. So you gotta really make up your mind that this is what you want to happen. Okay, so we're gonna put it over here. Alright, so we readjusted the height and the level of this one so that it's more parallel to the actual length and width of the monitor. And since we only have one of the controllers, we're actually going to use the extender so that we can have it curved. Alright, so we're going to put this end of this controller like so. So the male goes into the female connection, and this one goes here. And then you're going to have to find a good spot to mount it as well. Okay, so this is where our first connection ends. And so we're gonna put the cover back on this one. And then we're gonna mount the other one, which is connected to the other side. Okay, so this is the other connection. So we're gonna peel off the stickers first. Okay, so similar to the first one, we're gonna make sure that it's parallel and level, so that
I think under
right this way, because our controller is gonna be on this side. Okay, so it doesn't matter if the logo is actually the other way around. Okay, so once this is connected, you're gonna have to use the other extender on this side. Just so you can fulfill, and then we're gonna be putting this here. So make sure that you don't break any of the pins, because it's going to cause the LEDs not to work, because it's not going to get enough power from the monitors. Okay, so we're just going to have to position it the same way as earlier. Okay, so there we go. So now what we will need to do is to actually connect the headers to where it's supposed to be. So alright, so we rewired everything again just to make sure that one of the things you take into account is that the header will be down here instead of up here, so it's not hanging. Another thing that you're gonna have to consider is that the arrow is actually supposed to be pointing to where the H is, or where, what is this? The DIN, or the plus 5 volts in, because that's where the power is supposed to go. So even the connectors or the extenders should go in the plus 5 volts. Okay, so an ideal setup is that on two corners will be the extenders. And now we're gonna see if our setup actually works. Okay, so alright, so again, this is the NZXT HUE 2 ambient lighting controller, and you're gonna have to use the power adapter, and you're gonna have to use the micro USB and connect it to the USB to your PC. And then finally, you're gonna have to use the headers. So each of the headers will power up each of the LED strip. So there we already have one of them, and voila, there we go. So this one should probably go under your monitor, like so. And once your PC is a little bit more, or your environment is a little bit more dim, it should actually light up the place. So the lights are going to bounce off the wall while PC gaming, and configuring it via the CAM software, which we will preview in a few moments, should give you ultimate control of the lighting effects and ambient lighting of this NZXT ambient lighting system. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and tune in for more video reviews and unboxing. For now, enjoy the rest of this B-rolls. Bye-bye.